I can finally lie flat and be a salted fish. On our third wedding anniversary, my Ice Queen CEO wife handed me a divorce agreement. Sign it. This $500 million is my compensation to you. On the surface, I was calm, but inside, I was already ecstatic. $500 million. This is great. I can finally lie flat and be a salted fish. These 3 years as a live-in son-in-law have been like being in prison. I'm finally free. Who knew that my cold and aloof wife's delicate body would suddenly tremble, her beautiful eyes filled with shock and disbelief? From that day on, she always looked at me as if I were a monster. And beneath my slacking exterior, the soul of a tycoon who once dominated the business world could no longer be hidden. A cold voice sounded in my ear, like a piece of ice hitting my heart. I looked up at the woman in front of me, Su Qingyan, my legal wife, and also the famous Ice Queen CEO of Yin City. Today, she was wearing a well-tailored white suit, her long hair coiled up, revealing a swan-like, fair neck. Those beautiful eyes behind the gold-rimmed glasses were looking at me without any emotion, as if looking at an insignificant stranger. On the table, a divorce agreement was pushed in front of me. Qingyu, we have been married for 3 years. Su Qingyan's voice was without a ripple. In these 3 years, you haven't had a job. Your food, clothing, and expenses have all been provided by the Su family. I dare say I haven't treated you unfairly. I didn't speak, just quietly looked at her. Now, Grandpa is critically ill, and the Su group is facing internal and external troubles. I need a powerful marriage alliance to stabilize the situation. She paused, her tone carrying a hint of condescending charity. Sign this agreement, and the $500 million in the card will be your compensation. Enough for you to live comfortably for the rest of your life. I picked up the black card and twirled it between my fingertips. $500 million. To an ordinary person, it's an astronomical figure. To the me from 3 years ago, who stirred up storms on Wall Street under the code name Pluto, it was merely the transaction volume of a few minutes. 3 years ago, I single-handedly created a $1 trillion financial empire, but due to overwork, I died suddenly in my office on my 30th birthday. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn into the body of this unlucky guy who was also named Qingyu, a good-for-nothing who sold himself into the Su family as a live-in son-in-law to pay for his mother's medical treatment. I had intended to continue my reign, but the frailty of this body and the fatigue from my previous life made me change my mind completely. To hell with the business empire. To hell with the scheming. I want to lie flat. I want to be a salted fish. For the past 3 years, I have played the role of a useless live-in son-in-law well. Every day, besides eating and sleeping, I played games, paid no mind to worldly affairs, and caused Su Qingyan no trouble. All for this day, waiting for her to initiate the divorce. I would take the compensation, and from then on, the vast ocean would be for the fish to leap, and the high sky for the birds to fly. Ha! $500 million. This is great. I can finally retire. These 3 years of pretending to be a wimp have been too tiring. Facing this ice block face every day gave me indigestion. Now I'm finally free. With this $500 million, I'll buy an island, wear beach shorts and flip-flops every day, drink ice-cold Coke, and watch bikinis. The life of the gods is coming. I was ecstatic inside, almost laughing out loud. But on the surface, I squeezed out a look of utter grief, my fingers trembling slightly, and my voice hoarse. Qingyan, is there really no room to salvage this? My feelings for you. Enough. Su Qingyan suddenly interrupted me. Her face was a little pale. She held her forehead, and the look in her eyes was filled with unprecedented shock and confusion. Huh? What's this reaction? Shouldn't it be contempt and impatience? What the hell? Why does this woman look like she's seen a ghost? Could it be that my acting is too good, and she's feeling a pang of conscience? Please don't. Big sister, just hurry up and let me scram. My island, my bikini beauties are all waving at me. Don't you dare change your mind at the last minute. I was getting anxious inside. I picked up the pen, pretending to be utterly dejected, ready to flamboyantly sign my name on the agreement. Wait a minute. Su Qingyan stopped me again. Her breathing was a bit rapid, her chest heaving violently. She stared at me intently, her beautiful eyes filled with disbelief. Just now, those voices, Were they an illusion? Why were the thoughts of this useless live-in son-in-law exactly the same as the voice I heard? He said I have indigestion. He said he's going to an island to watch bikinis. He actually thinks 500 million in compensation is pretty good. Su Qingyin's worldview suffered an unprecedented shock. For 3 years, Chen Yu had always been a meek, self-abasing, and cowardly figure in front of her. She thought he loved her to the bone, that he couldn't live without her. So when she proposed a divorce today, she had even prepared a set of excuses to deal with his crying and pestering. But now what was this? Not only was there not the slightest bit of reluctance in his heart, but on the contrary, he was ecstatic, as if he'd won the lottery. You? Su Qingyin pointed at me, speechless for a long moment. What you? Hurry up. If you don't sign soon, the Civil Affairs Bureau will close. What's wrong with this woman today? So indecisive. Where's her usual decisiveness for meetings? I was ranting wildly in my head, but on my face was a look of being on the verge of tears. Qingyin, I know I'm not good enough for you. If you think 500 million isn't enough, I don't have to take it. I only want you. Shut up. Su Qingyin shot to her feet, her high heels making a sharp click on the floor. Her mind was in chaos. This man, on one hand, was spouting nonsense about his deep love, while on the other, he was scheming about whether to go to Hawaii or the Maldives. Is he a lunatic? Or am I the lunatic? The agreement. We're not signing it for now. Su Qingyin took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. I need to reconsider this matter. After speaking, she didn't even dare to look at me again, grabbed her handbag, and fled the office with somewhat unsteady steps. I was stunned, the pen in my hand still hovering in midair. What the hell? Not signing. Hey, don't go. My 500 million. My life of leisure. I let out a wail in my heart, but my face was a mask of confusion. Watching Su Qingyin's retreating back as she fled in disarray, I fell into deep thought. This woman is definitely not normal today. I returned home. The so-called home was actually a small side house next to the Su family villa. For 3 years, my sphere of activity as the live-in son-in-law had been basically confined to this place. Su Qingyin hadn't returned, and I was happy for the peace and quiet. I turned on my computer and skillfully logged into an overseas financial trading platform. Looking at the familiar K-line chart on the screen, the corners of my mouth tilted up slightly. Although I've decided to take it easy, I can't let my skills get rusty. In these 3 years, using the tens of thousands in pocket money Su Qingyin gave me each month, I had secretly snowballed it into a 9-figure sum. Can't be helped. Making money is as easy as breathing for me. That idiot Li Hao's been frantically going long on Star C-Tech stock recently, and even wants to pull Su Qingyin in with him. He really must have a death wish. Star C-Tech's financial report is as fake as an AV actress's face. It's going to be shorted by overseas institutions next week, and the stock price will plummet until there's nothing left but their underwear. When that happens, I'll turn around and short it, and I can earn another sum from my island construction fund. Haha, I mused with delight as I managed my trades. Meanwhile, Su Qingyin, who had just returned to the master bedroom of the villa, was sitting on the sofa with a headache. Inside her head, my inner voice echoed clearly once again. Star C-Tech? Liu, that second-generation rich kid who'd been chasing her relentlessly, known as the stock god of Cloud City? Li Hao had indeed been strongly recommending Star C-Tech to her recently, saying it was a once-in-a-century opportunity and that as long as the Su Group invested, the stock price would at least triple. On the board of directors, the faction led by her second uncle, Su Jianjun, was also extremely tempted and constantly pressured her. Could it be that what Chen Yu said was true? The moment this thought appeared, Su Qingyin herself found it absurd. A good-for-nothing who lives off his wife and only knows how to play games all day. What does he know about financial reports? What does he know about short selling? It must be a hallucination. My stress levels must be too high lately. Su Qingyin shook her head, trying to cast the absurd voices from her mind. She picked up the phone and dialed her assistant. Lisa, find me a top-tier private investigator. I need to investigate someone. Also, use all available resources to give me the most fundamental, unedited, raw financial data for Star C-Tech. I want the absolute truth. Hanging up the phone, Su Qingyin looked at the light in my small house outside the window, her expression extremely complicated. The next day was the Su family dinner. As usual, I sat at the far end of the dining table, focused on eating. The Su family had a rule: no talking while eating. But today, that rule was broken. Qingyan, how is your consideration of the project to cooperate with the lead group and invest in Star Sea Tech coming along? The one who spoke was Su Qingyan's second uncle, Su Jianjun, a pot-bellied middle-aged man whose eyes always glinted with cunning and greed. Su Qingyan put down her chopsticks and said lightly, "Second uncle, this project is too risky." "I don't agree." "Nonsense." Su Jianjun slammed the table. Who is Li Hao, the stock god of Cloud City? Could a project he favors be wrong? This is a great opportunity for our Su group to turn things around. "Yeah, cousin." Su Qingyan's younger cousin, Su Hao, also chimed in sarcastically. "Don't tell me you've been influenced by some jinx and become timid. The Su family doesn't support idlers, and certainly not useless baggage that holds us back." As he spoke, he shot a meaningful glance at me. I ignored him and picked up another piece of braised pork, stuffing it into my mouth. Delicious. This Su Jianjun is a real idiot. He's being sold, and he's still helping count the money. That piece of land has excessive heavy metal contamination. Even a dog wouldn't go there, and he wants to use it for real estate development? Li Hao is treating him like a pig for slaughter. And this Su Hao, a typical rich playboy, what can he do besides fooling around with young models? Last time at the Night Color Club, he got a little too wild and knocked a girl up. It cost $1 million to sort it out, and the money came from the company's accounts. TSK. The Su family will be hollowed out by these parasites sooner or later. My inner voice, like 3D surround sound, clearly entered Su Qingyan's ears. The hand she was holding her water glass with trembled violently. Heavy metal contamination? Su Hao embezzled public funds? She snapped her head up and stared at me, her eyes filled with horror. Regarding that land, Li Hao's story was that its location was excellent. It just lacked road access for now. And as for Su Hao's affair, she had never heard a word about it. "Sis, why are you looking at this loser like that?" Su Hao felt a chill from her stare. Was I wrong? He's just a kept man. Su Jianjun also snorted coldly. "Qingyan, don't change the subject. For today's project, you have to agree whether you want to or not. I've already made an appointment with young Master Li. We're signing the contract tomorrow." Su Qingyan took a deep breath. Her gaze moved from me to Su Jianjun's greasy face. Her voice was as cold as ice. "Second uncle, before I say anything, you'd better explain who did the environmental assessment report for that piece of land in the west of the city, the one you plan to trade with the Li Group for Shanghai shares. And you, Su Hao." Her gaze shifted to her cousin. "The $1 million that vanished from the company accounts last month. Shouldn't you also explain which club and which girl it was spent on?" Boom! As soon as she said this, the entire dining room fell instantly silent. The smug smile on Su Jianjun's face froze, his pupils contracting sharply. Su Hao was so scared he jumped straight out of his chair, his face as white as a sheet. He pointed at Su Qingyan and stammered, You, how did you know?" Su Hao's reaction undoubtedly confirmed my inner voice. Su Jianjun's face turned pale and green, and cold sweat beaded on his forehead. "Qingyan, don't believe every rumor you hear. Who has been gossiping in front of you?" His eyes darted away, not daring to meet Su Qingyan's gaze. "Whether it's gossip or not, we'll know for sure once we check the company's books and the original survey report for that land, won't we?" Su Qingyan's voice wasn't loud, but every word struck Su Jianjun and Su Hao's hearts like a hammer. The old master of the Su family, Su Jinghua, who had been sitting in the main seat with his eyes closed as if he were asleep, slowly opened his eyes. His cloudy eyes swept over the pale faces of Su Jianjun and Su Hao, finally landing on Su Qingyan with a hint of imperceptible approval. "Jianjun, Qingyan is the president of the group now. Company matters are for her to decide." The old master's words were final. Su Jianjun wanted to say more, but when he met the old master's all-seeing gaze, he instantly deflated like a punctured ball. A family storm was thus calmed. I kept my head down and ate the whole time, as if I were an outsider. But my inner voice never stopped. Not bad, this girl. Quick on the uptake, she actually has the air of a president. Unlike her idiot second uncle, who's being used as a pawn. But by doing this, she's completely offended both Su Jianjun and Li Hao. Those two will definitely team up to go after her. TSK, what a hassle. Is my lazy salted fish life about to go down the drain? No way, I have to get her to sign the divorce papers quickly, take my 500 million and run. Su Qingyin picked up her glass and took a sip, hiding the twitch at the corner of her mouth. This man, who on earth was he? On the one hand, he was like an omniscient prophet, seeing through the dirty laundry within the Su family and the traps in the business world as if they were crystal clear. On the other hand, he was like an utterly irresponsible bastard with a mind full of nothing but how to run away and how to be a slacker. This extreme contrast made Su Qingyin feel an unprecedented sense of absurdity and curiosity. After the dinner ended, I prepared to return to my small side room, as usual. You stop, Su Qingyin's voice came from behind. I turned around and looked at her. What now? Don't tell me she wants to thank me? Please don't. I didn't do anything. Whatever you do, don't fall in love with me. I'm not interested in icebergs. An almost imperceptible blush crept onto Su Qingyin's cheeks before her expression turned icy again. She took a new bank card out of her handbag and handed it to me. There's 10 million in here. Consider it. Your pocket money for this month. I was stunned. 10 million? Pocket money? Wasn't it 50,000 a month before? Holy shit. A rich woman. So hungry. Need food. Has this woman gone crazy? Giving me so much money all of a sudden? What kind of trick is this? Is she trying to corrupt me with money? Make me unable to leave her, so she won't have to divorce me? Such a malicious woman. Am I? Chenyu, the kind of person who is blinded by money. I righteously condemned her in my heart. Then I quickly took the bank card, stuffed it into my pocket, and said with a calm face, "Thanks, wifey." Suingyan. She felt her fists clenching. What on earth was this man's face made of? Chenyu. Su Qingyin took a deep breath, deciding to test him. What do you think of Star C technology? My heart skipped a beat. Here it comes, she's starting to test me. What can I think? I'll watch it from my bed. A company about to go bust, not even a dog would touch it. No, I have to keep up the act. My persona is that of a good-for-nothing. I can't break character. Thinking this, a bewildered expression immediately appeared on my face. Star C Technology? Is that the gaming company? I think I played their games. They're pretty trash, and the skins are ridiculously expensive. Seeing his standard gamer nerd appearance, Su Qingyin's frown deepened. If she couldn't hear his inner thoughts, she would have really believed he was just an ignorant good-for-nothing. But now, she only felt that the man before her was shrouded in a thick fog, making him completely inscrutable. It's nothing, you can go back now. Su Qingyin waved her hand and turned to walk into the master bedroom. She needed time to digest everything that had happened today. As for me, I cheerfully returned to my room. Staring at the long string of zeros added to my bank card, my grin was so wide it almost split my face. 10 million secured. The renovation fund for the island villa is covered. This rich woman is quite generous. Maybe I should stick around for a few more days, fleece her for a bit more before the divorce. Su Qingyin, who had just stepped in her bedroom, heard this last inner thought, stumbled, and nearly fell. Fleece her? She, the dignified CEO of the Su Corporation, was being treated like a sheep by this useless live-in son-in-law. Su Qingyin trembled with anger and didn't sleep a wink all night. The next day, at the Su Corporation, the atmosphere in the CEO's office was tense. President Su, are you really going to reject the collaboration with the Li family? The director of marketing asked with concern. Li Hao has already put the word out that if our Su Corporation doesn't know what's good for us, he will launch a full-scale market attack against us. That's right, President. The Li family's influence in Yunqing is not to be underestimated. We're facing both internal and external troubles right now. It's really not a good time to make another powerful enemy. Su Qingyin rubbed the bridge of her nose. The sleepless night had left her looking somewhat haggard. Her mind was filled with Chen Yu's chaotic inner thoughts. Market attack? With that straw for brains Li Hao? He can't even tell the difference between KDEJ and MACD. And he wants to play at market sniping? Hilarious. If he dares to make a move, I'll just use his own funds to pump up the Su Corporation stock price and bury him in the process. When that happens, if that girl Qingyin is happy, will she reward me with another 10 million? These thoughts echoed in her mind like a curse. President, seeing Su Qingyin's attention drift, The director couldn't help but prompt her. Su Qingyan snapped back to reality. Her gaze swept over everyone present, her voice firm. Effective today, terminate all intended cooperation with the Lee Group. Also, have the finance department prepare funds to buy back company stock at any moment. What? President, please reconsider. The conference room erupted in an uproar. Everyone thought their female president had gone mad. Wasn't this tantamount to openly declaring war on the Lee family? Only Su Qingyan knew that she wasn't betting on her own judgment, but on the man lying at home playing video games. A man who could casually say bury him. In the afternoon, the news spread, shaking the business world of Yunqing. The Su Corporation had openly rejected the Lee Group's olive branch. Li Hao flew into a rage, smashing an antique vase worth $1 million in his office. Su Yingyan, you bitch. I offer you a toast, and you choose a forfeit. I pursued you for so long, and you reject me for a worthless live-in son-in-law. Fine. Very well. I like to see how your Su Corporation survives this crisis without my Lee family. His face contorted. Li Hao dialed his stock trader's number. Smash their stock price. Spare no expense. I want to turn the Su Corporation stock into worthless paper. I want Su Qingyan to come begging me on her knees. A war without smoke had just begun. And at that moment, I was wearing beach shorts and sunglasses, lying in the courtyard of the side house, sunbathing and humming a little tune. Here he comes, the fish is on the hook. Go on, keep dumping. The harder you dump, the more I'll enjoy snapping up the shares. Once I've tricked you out of all your ammunition, it'll be time for me to close the net. I took a leisurely sip of my ice-cold Coke, as if watching a grand play that had nothing to do with me. Under Li Hao's frenzied selling, the Su Group stock price began to plummet. Panic spread throughout the company. The board of directors' phones were ringing off the hook. Everyone pointed their fingers at Su Qingyan, cursing her for being headstrong and pushing the Su Group into an abyss. Su Jianjun was even more agitated in the board's group chat, inciting the others to demand Su Qingyan's removal from her position as president. Su Qingyan sat alone in her vast office, staring at the glaring green downward curve on the screen, her palms slick with cold sweat. She was under unprecedented pressure. Just then, her personal phone rang. It was an unknown number. She hesitated for a moment, then answered. From the other end came a processed, androgynous electronic voice. President Su, do you want to win? Suingen es pupils contracted. Who are you? Who I am is not important. The voice continued. What's important is that I know how to ensure Li Hao meets a dead end. At 3 in the afternoon, take all the funds you can mobilize and buy call options for Blue Ocean Precision. Remember all of it. Are you crazy? Su Qingyan cried out. Blue Ocean Precision, an obscure little company whose stock price was usually as flat as an EKG. Betting all their funds on it. What was the difference between that and gambling? Believe it or not. With that, the voice hung up. Su Qingyan stood frozen, clutching her phone. Suddenly, Chen Yu's inner thoughts from yesterday flashed through her mind. That idiot Li Hao, in order to crash the Su Group stock, has misappropriated the funds his father was going to use to acquire Blue Ocean Precision. He thinks he's being stealthy, but he has no idea that his father's arch-nemesis has long had his eyes on Blue Ocean Precision's core technology patent. Tomorrow afternoon, once the news is announced, the stock price will increase at least tenfold. By then, not only will Li Hao's attempt to crash the stock fail, but his father's capital chain will also break. The sight of father and son going to the rooftop together is sure to be beautiful. So, that's how it was. All the clues connected into a complete thread in Su Qingyan's mind. That mysterious phone call wasn't from someone else at all. It was Chunyu. Even though he was lying at home, he was controlling the entire situation in a way she couldn't comprehend. Su Qingyan's heart pounded wildly. She looked at the continuously falling stock price of the Su Group on the screen, then at the time. It was 2:50 p.m., 10 minutes until 3 o'clock. To bet or not to bet? If she bet, the Su Group might be doomed forever. If she didn't, the Su Group would be dragged down by Li Hao all the same. Su Qingyan closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she opened them again, only determination remained in her gaze. She picked up the internal phone, her voice steady and powerful. CFO immediately. Right now. Buy call options for Blue Ocean Precision with all our liquid capital. Quickly. President, have you gone mad? On the other end of the line, the CFO's voice had changed pitch. The Su Group stock is about to hit its limit down. We should be propping up the market. Throwing money at an unrelated company is suicide. Execute the order. Su Qingyan offered no further explanation and hung up. She leaned back in her chair, her hands and feet cold, her heart pounding so hard it felt like it would leap out of her throat. She had bet the entire Su Group on a fragment of Chun Yu's inner thoughts. If she lost, she would become the eternal sinner of the Su family. Time passed, second by second. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, on the dot. The financial news channel suddenly cut to a breaking news report. We have breaking news. Leading domestic tech company, Huaxing Technology has announced its successful acquisition of Blue Ocean Precision, thereby obtaining its exclusively held patent for 5th-generation photolithography core technology. As a result of this news, Blue Ocean Precision's stock price has skyrocketed. Boom! Su Qingyan shot up from her chair, her eyes glued to the television screen. On the screen, the stock price of Blue Ocean Precision was shooting up vertically at an unbelievable angle, as if strapped to a rocket. 100%, 200%, 500%, 1,000%. In just a few short minutes, it had increased tenfold. The phone in Su Qingyan's office was instantly flooded with calls. President, we won. It went up tenfold. We've made 30 billion. The CFO's voice was completely hoarse and distorted from extreme excitement. 30 billion. This amount was enough for the Su Group not only to escape its current predicament, but to rise to a whole new level. Su Qingyan's legs gave out, and she collapsed in her chair, gasping for breath. She had won. She had really won the gamble. At the same time, a dead silence filled Li Hao's office. Li Hao stared blankly at the stock price of Blue Ocean Precision on the screen, and at the zeroed-out balance in his own account, which had been forcibly liquidated because he couldn't meet the margin call. It was as if his soul had been ripped from his body. No. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How did the news of Huaxing's acquisition leak? He had misappropriated the funds his father had set aside for the acquisition, intending to make a quick and ruthless profit on the Su family stock to put Su Qingyan in her place. But now, he had lost everything. Not only had he failed to short the Su family's company, but he had also pushed himself and the entire Li family into an abyss. It's over. Li Hao crumpled to the floor, his face ashen. Meanwhile, inside the Su Group, there was a scene of wild celebration. Su Jianjun, who had just been clamoring in the group chat to oust Su Qingyan, was now too scared to make sound. Those board members who swayed with the wind were now all at ing Su Qingyan, showering her with a storm of flattery. The president is brilliant. The president turned the tide. It is the Su family's great fortune. I told you so. Follow the president and you'll get your share. Su Qingyan looked at these faces that changed faster than flipping through a book, her eyes cold and without a ripple of emotion. She ignored their sycophancy and, instead, immediately dialed my number. I was lying in the courtyard, enjoying the fruits of victory. 30 billion secured. The Su family's company is stable now. Qingyan, that little minx, really is guts. She actually dared to go all in. Not bad, not bad. She has my style from back in the day. She should be able to trust me completely now, right? I can put the divorce on the agenda. My private island, my bikinis. The call connected, and Su Qingyan's cool voice came through. Where are you? At home. I answered lazily. Don't move. Wait for me. With that, she hung up. Half an hour later, a red Ferrari sports car executed a beautiful drift and stopped at the entrance of the side house. Su Qingyan got out of the car and walked briskly towards me. She wasn't wearing a suit today, but casual clothes, which softened the sharp edges of CEO and added a touch of feminine grace. She just stood there, looking down at me without a word. Her stare was making my hair stand on end. What does this woman want? Don't tell me she got so excited from winning the money that she wants to offer herself to me. Please no. Although you're very good-looking and have a great figure, your personality is too cold. Living together would be so boring. I still prefer fiery, passionate babes. Su Qingyan's face darkened, inch by inch, at a visible rate. She squeezed a few words through her teeth. Chun Yu, who on earth are you? Here it comes, the ultimate question. I sighed inwardly, knowing there was no dodging this. Who could I be? Your husband, of course. An unremarkable loser who just wants to be a kept man. I can't possibly tell you I'm a financial tycoon reincarnated from Wall Street. Can I? Who would believe me? They'd have me locked up as a lunatic. I scratched my head and put on my signature simple and honest smile. Qingyan, what are you talking about? I don't understand. I'm just Chunyu. You're still pretending. Su Qingyan's voice suddenly rose, her emotions spiraling out of control. You knew all along that Li Hao would crash the market. You also knew that Blue Ocean Precision was going to be acquired. You even knew about all the dirty things my second uncle and cousin did. You are not Qingyu. You are definitely not that loser who only knows how to play video games. She pressed forward with every step, and I retreated with every step. Damn, this little minx has gotten smart. Not so easy to fool anymore. What to do? Show my cards? No, too risky. Got it. My eyes darted, and a plan formed in my mind. I looked at Su Qingyan with a terrified expression and stammered. I don't know what you're talking about. Those were all just wild guesses. Wild guesses. Su Qingyan laughed in exasperation. Your wild guesses are this accurate? You could even guess that the stock price would multiply by 10. It was a stock market analyst on TV. I said, thinking on my feet and starting to spout nonsense. A few nights ago, I got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and happened to see a finance show. There was an old guy with glasses, and his analysis was really convincing. So I just remembered it. A stock market analyst? Su Qingyan narrowed her eyes. Which show? Which analyst? It was that show called Wealth Code, and the analyst was called Nio Aihua. I casually made up a name. Nio Aihua. Puffed. I'm a genius. There's no way she can find someone with such a hick name. Su Qingyan heard my inner thoughts and almost couldn't catch her breath. Nio Aihua? Suppressing her laughter, or perhaps her anger, she took out her phone and, with a straight face, ordered her assistant. Lisa, go look up a stock market expert named Nio Aihua and a show called Fortune's Code. My heart skipped a beat. Holy crap. She's actually looking it up. Why doesn't this woman play by the rules? I'm screwed. The cat's out of the bag now. Sweat started beading on my forehead as my mind raced, trying to think of a way to fix this. A few minutes later, Lisa called back. President Su, I can't find any stock market expert named Nio Aihua, nor is there any finance program called Fortune's Code. Su Qingyan had put the call on speaker, and Lisa's voice came through clearly. The air froze in an instant. I wish I could find a hole in the ground to crawl into. The scene of a social death. It's so awkward I could dig a 3-bedroom apartment with my toes. Su Qingyan hung up the phone and just watched me quietly, a hint of mockery in her eyes, as if looking at a little mouse cornered against a wall. Now, is there anything else you'd like to explain? Expert Nio Aihua. She deliberately emphasized the name Nio Aihua. My face flushed red, and I decided to throw caution to the wind. All right, I'll lay my cards on the table. I sighed and said with a profound expression, actually, I am a reclusive master. I can read the stars at night and see into the future. Su Qingyan. Huh, how about that reason? Isn't it mystical enough? Absurd enough? I refuse to believe you can look this up. As long as I stick to my story, she can't do anything to me. She doesn't have any proof anyway. Looking at my shameless a dead pig isn't afraid of boiling water attitude, Su Qingyan suddenly found it somewhat amusing. She realized she was finding it harder and harder to understand this man. At times, he was like a peerless master strategist, turning great fleets to ash with a snap of his fingers. At other times, he was like a street corner charlatan spouting nonsense, absurd and laughable. Fine, a reclusive master, is it? Instead of getting angry, Su Qingyan smiled. She decided to change her strategy. Then may I ask the great master, can you divine what trouble my Su Corporation will encounter next? Oh, she's testing me now. Trouble? Big trouble. With Li Hao down, his fatherly Wan Shan will definitely go crazy. That old fox is much harder to deal with than his son. He controls the Su Corporation's largest raw material supplier, Tianyu Chemicals. If he cuts off the supply, all of Su's production lines will have to shut down next month. But this problem is easy to solve. Tianyu Chemical's rival, Hongfa Industries, has recently developed a new type of environmentally friendly material with better performance and lower cost. As long as the Su Corporation can secure an exclusive supply contract, they can not only break free from Li Wanshan's control, but also establish a technological barrier in the industry. The boss of Hongfa Industries is named Wang Defa. He's a stubborn character, impervious to persuasion, and only respects technology. To win him over, you have to appeal to his interests. I remember he seems to be a fanatical Go enthusiast. While I was rattling on and on in my head, I put on a profound look and pinched my fingers as if performing a divination. The secrets of heaven must not be revealed. Su Qingyan listened quietly to all my inner thoughts. Watching me act all mysterious, her gaze grew deeper. She nodded and didn't press further. The fine secrets of heaven must not be revealed. She turned and walked towards her Ferrari. Chenyu, you better not disappoint me. With that, she drove away, leaving only a stylish silhouette behind. I watched her car disappear into the distance and breathed a sigh of relief. I finally managed to bluff my way through. But what I didn't know was that the first thing Su Qingyan did upon returning to her office was to have her assistant Lisa look up all the information on Hongfa Industries and its boss, Wang Defa, especially his hobbies and interests. The next day, Su Qingyan personally led a team to Hongfa Industries. Just as my inner thoughts had predicted, Wang Defa was a typical tech nerd, stubborn and ill-tempered. Faced with a personal visit from the #1 beauty and president in Yunqing, he didn't even bat an eyelid, simply having his secretary turn her away. I'm sorry, President Su, but our President Wang is in the middle of technical research and is not seeing any guests. Su Qingyan's team was given the cold shoulder, and none of them looked pleased. President, this Wang Defa is too disrespectful. Exactly, we condescended to come here in person, and he actually... Su Qingyan waved her hand, silencing her subordinates' complaints. She looked at Hongfa Industries' plain and unadorned office building, and far from being angry, a faint smile played on her lips. Because the information Lisa brought back matched Chunyu's inner thoughts, word for word. Wang Defa, an amateur 6th Dan and Go, a complete fanatic. We're leaving. Su Qingyan turned and walked away. Huh? President, we're just giving up like that. Who said to give up? Su Qingyan turned her head, a confident glint in her eyes. Tomorrow, we'll come again. That night, Su Qingyan, for the first time ever, didn't return to the master bedroom. Instead, she came to my small side room. I was wearing baggy shorts, playing Go on the computer. This little life, not bad at all. When Su Qingyan pushed the door open and entered, she saw me in my unkempt state. I was startled and quickly tried to close the computer. Holy crap, how did this woman get in? Didn't even knock. My Go alt account is going to be exposed. What are you doing? Su Qingyan's gaze fell on my computer screen. On the screen, black and white Go pieces were locked in a fierce battle. My opponent was a national-level professional 9th Dan Go player, ID Go Saint, and my ID was just want to chill. At that moment, Go Saint's Black Dragon formation had been completely dismantled by my white pieces, in utter disarray, routed. In the chat box, Go Saint sent a string of ellipses, followed by a line of text. Brother, your Go skill is unfathomable. I proclaim you the strongest. May I ask which esteemed senior master you are? I fumbled to close the page, letting out 2 dry laughs. No. Nothing, just messing around. Su Qingyan gave me a deep look, but didn't expose me. She pulled a chair over and sat across from me. Chenyu, teach me Go. I was stunned. Teach you Go? Miss, aren't you supposed to deal with Wang Defa tomorrow? Cramming last minute, will it be enough? With your IQ, I'm afraid I could teach you until dawn, and you still wouldn't understand liberties. Su Qingyan's face darkened again. She gritted her teeth, repeating word by word. I said, teach me Go. Seeing her say no and I'll kill you expression, I sighed helplessly. All right, your majesty. I reopened the Go board and began explaining the most basic rules to her. This is called a liberty, the space a piece occupies on the board. This is called an Atari, the next move allows you to capture an opponent's piece. My throat was dry from speaking, while Su Qingyan was completely lost. My God, she really is a dummy. She still can't remember a simple Joziki after I've explained it 8 times. Forget it. It's more likely a sow will climb a tree than her beating Wang Defa herself. I'll just turn Wang Defa's favorite opening and its counter into a go score for her to memorize. Then she can just parrot it, which should be enough to bluff that old man. While I was ranting silently in my head, I quietly began preparing the go score. Su Qingyan lowered her head, pretending to listen intently, but her ears were perked up high, taking in every single word of my inner thoughts. The corners of her mouth, without her even realizing it, curled slightly upwards. This man, though his words were lethally sharp, was not so annoying after all. That night quietly passed with my insincere teaching and Su Qingyan's absent-minded learning. The next day, Hongfa Industry, Wang Defa's office. Su Qingyan was once again stopped at the door by the secretary. "I'm sorry, Ms. Su, our CEO Wang today." "Tell your CEO Wang." Su Qingyan interrupted her, handing over a USB drive. "Just say someone wants to discuss the latest counter to the Kobayashi-style opening with him." The secretary took the USB drive, half believing, and went inside. A few minutes later, the office door opened. Wang Defa himself walked out. He looked at Su Qingyan, his eyes filled with shock and excitement. "Miss Su, quickly, please come in." His attitude was completely different from yesterday. Su Qingyan's team was dumbfounded. Inside the office, Wang Defa pointed at the go score on the computer screen, excited like a child. "Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This point at move 37 is simply a stroke of genius. It completely breaks through the core of the Kobayashi-style formation." "Miss Su, this go score. Did you research it yourself?" Su Qingyan nodded calmly, without batting an eyelid. "Just tinkering around when I had nothing better to do." "Just tinkering around. Who is it that I gave a thorough dressing down to last night? This woman, she's certainly quick at learning how to act cool." In her mind, Chen Yu's sarcastic remarks sounded again. The tips of Su Qingyan's ears quietly turned red. Wang Defa's attitude towards Su Qingyan instantly shifted from that of a businessman to a go-buddy, a kindred spirit. "Ms. Su, Wang Defa, am determined to be your friend." The subsequent negotiations proceeded incredibly smoothly. Su Qingyan barely had to say a word to secure the exclusive agency rights for Hongfa Industrial's new material, and at a price 20% lower than the market rate. After signing the contract, Wang Defa, still not having had his fill, grabbed Su Qingyan and insisted on a game of Go with her. Su Qingyan didn't know the first thing about Go. All she could do was bite the bullet, and, relying on the few moves Chen Yu had taught her the night before which she had memorized by rote, barely managed to play. The result, naturally, was a crushing defeat. Wang Defa, however, didn't mind in the least. Instead, he roared with laughter. President Su is truly a person of character, unconcerned with trivialities. Skill in Go is minor, but character in Go is major. I like it. Su Yingyan. She no longer knew what expression to wear in the face of all this. On the way back to the company, the entire team was immersed in joy and shock. "President, you're incredible. To think you're also a Go master." "I know. That Wang Defa practically worships you like a god." Su Qingyan leaned back in her seat without a word, simply watching the rapidly receding streetscape outside the window, her thoughts a whirlwind. All of this was because of that man, the man lying at home in his big shorts, complaining about how stupid she was, yet silently paving the way for her. She suddenly had an overwhelming urge to see him. Right now, this instant. Upon returning to the Su residence, she didn't go to master bedroom, but walked straight to the side room. I was humming a little tune, browsing information on various islands online. Bali's not bad, passionate enough. The Maldives would work too. Clear water and white sand. It's so hard to choose. Su Qingyan pushed the door open, interrupting my fantasy. "Chen Yu, what now?" I was a little impatient. Su Qingyan didn't speak. She just walked up to me and then did something that left me utterly dumbfounded. She leaned down and gave me a light peck on the cheek. Warm, soft, with a faint, delicate fragrance. I was completely petrified. What the hell? She kissed me. This woman's crazy. She must be crazy. What happened to the ice-cold CEO? What happened to throwing money in my face when we disagree? This isn't how the script is supposed to go. A tempest raged within my heart. Su Qingyin looked at my stunned expression, listening to the tsunami-like roars in my mind. Her cheeks were crimson, but her eyes were exceptionally bright. This is your reward. After she spoke, before I could react, she turned and fled like a startled fawn, leaving me alone, a mess in the wind. I touched the cheek she had kissed. It felt like it was on fire. It's over. My ambition to be a lazy slacker seems to be wavering just a little. Li Wanshan, Li Hao's father, the chairman of the Li Group, an old fox who had battled in the Cloud City business world for half his life. At this moment, he was sitting on a leather sofa in his office, his face so dark it looked like water could drip from it. What did you say? The Tianyu chemical contract was snatched by the Su family. Yes, Chairman, the secretary answered, trembling. Su Qingyin got the exclusive agency rights from Hongfa Industrial. Their new material has lower costs and better performance than ours. Now all of our downstream clients have gone to cooperate with the Su family. Useless. Li Wanshan slammed the cigar in his hand onto the floor. She ruined my son's reputation, and now she dares to steal my business? Does she really think I, Li Wanshan, am a pushover? A vicious glint flashed in his eyes. Su Yingyan, Su Group, I'll not only make you bankrupt, I'll make sure you're doomed for eternity. Li Wanshan picked up the phone and dialed a number. Hailing, take someone out for me. I was completely oblivious to all this. Ever since being ambushed by Su Qingyin, I had been feeling awkward these past few days. Whenever I saw her, I would be reminded of that soft kiss, and my heart would start to race uncontrollably. Damn it, what is this? Did I get manipulated by this Ice Queen? No, I must stand firm in my Tao of slacking. Women will only slow down my speed of lying flat. Su Qingyin listened to my inner voice, her expression unchanging, but inwardly, she was blooming with joy. She had discovered that teasing this man who said one thing but meant another had become her greatest pleasure. This day, she came home from work and handed me an invitation. In 3 days, the Cloud City Chamber of Commerce is holding its annual charity gala. You will accompany me. I'm not going. I shook my head like a rattle drum. That kind of occasion was the most boring. A group of people wearing fake smiles, flattering each other. I had no interest. Are you kidding me? How can I lie flat if I go to a place like that? I'd rather stay home and play video games. The final item at the auction is a Go board personally signed by the Grandmaster Wu Qingyuan. Su Yin said faintly. My eyes lit up in an instant. Holy crap, Wu Qingyuan's personally signed Go board. For real? That's my idol. No, I have to go. I must go. I cleared my throat and said with a reluctant look on my face, since you've put it that way, I'll risk my life to accompany you, milady. It's mainly because I'm afraid you'll be bullied there alone. Su Qingyin suppressed a laugh and nodded. Well, thank you for your trouble then. 3 days later, at the charity dinner, I changed into a custom-made suit that Su Qingyin had prepared for me, and I actually looked somewhat presentable. Su Qingyin, on the other hand, was in a starry blue evening gown, her long hair draped over her shoulders, looking devastatingly beautiful. The moment we appeared, we became the focus of the entire event. Of course, the focus was Su Qingyin, and I was the discordant stain by her side. Isn't that the good-for-nothing live-in son-in-law of the Su family? Why is he here too? You could put a dragon robe on him, but he still won't look like a prince. Look at his timid and shrinking appearance. He's truly an embarrassment to President Su. President Su must have been blind to fall for someone like him. Various discussions, not too loud, but just loud enough to reach our ears. I didn't care. Having been cursed at for 3 years, I was already used to it. Su Qingyin's face, however, turned cold. She took the initiative to link her arm with mine, leaning her body closer to me, announcing our relationship to everyone through her actions. Yo, this little lady is quite protective. Forget it, for the sake of her defending me like this. If anyone with no sense comes looking for trouble tonight, I'll reluctantly help her deal with it. My inner thoughts flowed like a warm current through Su Qingyin's heart. Just then, a discordant voice sounded. President Su, long time no see. Li Wanshan walked over with a wine glass, smiling, as if all the previous unpleasantness had never existed. But from his seemingly kind smile, I caught a trace of undisguised, murderous intent. This old fox, he's not here with good intentions. Chairman Li. Su Qingyin's tone was indifferent. Li Wanshan didn't look at Su Qingyin. Instead, his gaze fell on me, looking me up and down, full of contempt. This must be the famous Mr. Chun, right? He said in a strange, sarcastic tone. I've heard so much about you. Seeing you today, you truly are a man of great talent. A suppressed chuckle rippled through the surrounding crowd. Everyone could hear the sarcasm in his words. I said nothing, just quietly watching his performance. Old Fox, a dagger hidden behind a smile. It seems he's targeting me tonight. His son was crippled by me, so he's here to avenge his son. But does he think I'm still the same powerless weakling from 3 years ago? Sensing Li Wanshan's hostility, Su Qingyin subconsciously pulled me behind her and said coldly, Chairman Li, if you're here to cause trouble, I'm afraid we won't entertain you. Hey, President Su, don't misunderstand. Li Wanshan waved his hand, his smile becoming even more amicable. I just want to make friends with Mr. Chun. I've heard that Mr. Chun has a unique vision and is a stock market god. I wonder if you could give me some pointers. He was trying to ruin me with excessive praise. Everyone knew I was a good-for-nothing. He said this deliberately to make me look like a fool in public. I smiled and finally spoke. Pointers are out of the question. But seeing that your yin-tang is dark, Chairman Li, I'm afraid you may face a bloody disaster recently. As soon as my words came out, the entire hall was in an uproar. Is this waste insane? How dare he speak to Li Wanshan like that? Who does he think he is? A fortune teller. Li Wanshan's face instantly darkened. Brat, you're courting death. Chairman Li, mind your status. Su Qingyin stood in front of me, not yielding an inch. Li Wanshan stared at me, his eyes like a venomous snake. Good, very good. He laughed out of extreme anger. I'd like to see when your bloody disaster will come. After saying that, he stormed off. The small disturbance passed, and the dinner continued. The auction segment began, and the finale item, Wu Qingyuan signed Go Board, was brought onto the stage. My heart burned with desire. I had to have it. The starting bid was 1 million. 1,100,000. 1,200,000. The price climbed steadily. When the price reached 3 million, a voice suddenly rang out. 5 million. It was Li Wanshan. He gave me a provocative look, as if to say, Kid, you're still too green to fight with me. I frowned. This old bastard is deliberately raising the price against me. Forget it. A gentleman does not take what others love. It's just a Go Board. It's fine not to have it. Although I thought this in my heart, my face showed a look of anger and unwillingness. Su Qingyin glanced at me, but said nothing. Just as the auctioneer was about to bring down the hammer, she raised her paddle. 10 million. A collective gasp went through the entire hall. 10 million for a chessboard? Has CEO Su lost her mind? Li Wanshan's face changed as well. He never expected Su Qingyin to spend so much money on a useless item. He gritted his teeth and raised his paddle again. 11 million. Su Qingyin didn't hesitate. 20 million. Her voice was cold and firm, with an unquestionable dominance. Li Wanshan was completely dumbfounded. He just wanted to annoy her a little, but he didn't expect Su Qingyin to be so aggressive. 20 million had far exceeded the value of this chessboard. If he continued to bid, he would be a fool. In the end, the chessboard was sold to Su Qingyin for the sky-high price of 20 million. She handed the chessboard to me and said faintly, Do you like it? I looked at her, then at the chessboard in my hands, a mix of feelings churning inside me. You spendthrift? That's 20 million. How many islands could you buy with that? But why does it feel a little sweet in my heart? It's over. It's over. My Tao heart is in complete chaos. I took the chessboard and said in a low voice, Thank you. After the dinner, Su Qingyin and I prepared to leave. As we walked to the parking lot, I suddenly felt a vicious gust of wind behind me. I subconsciously shoved Su Qingyin away forcefully, and I sidestepped, dodging a heavy, powerful blow from a club. Several burly men in black clothes and masks, holding steel pipes, surrounded us. The one in the lead had a fierce gaze like a wolf. Black Wolf. I recognized him. The top enforcer in Yun City's underworld, ruthless and cruel. It seems Li Wanshan really wants me dead. Who are you people? Su Qingyin's face turned pale. She had never seen such a scene before. Black Wolf ignored her, his eyes locked on me. Licking his lips, Kid, Someone paid 5 million for one of your legs. Are you going to do it yourself, or should I help you? 5 million? For just one leg? I laughed. Li Wanshan is too stingy. Black Wolf's eyes narrowed. You know our boss? It seems you want me to shut up forever. I flexed my wrists and shielded Su Qingyan behind me. Qingyan closed her eyes. Damn it, I finally get to be reborn, and I just wanted to live a few peaceful days. They just had to force my hand. These scumbags, I'll finish them in 3 seconds. Hearing my inner thoughts, Su Qingyan, instead of closing her eyes, opened them wider, full of curiosity and anticipation. She wanted to see just how many secrets this man was hiding. Seeing that I wasn't afraid and even dared to boast, Black Wolf flew into a rage. Brothers, get him! Break his legs! The burly men roared, swinging their steel pipes, and attacked me from all directions. Su Qingyan nervously gripped the corner of my shirt. I patted her hand, signaling her to relax. Then I moved. My figure was as fast as a phantom. To the average person, it was just a fleeting shadow. The next second, thud, thud, thud. Several dull thuds, accompanied by the crisp sound of breaking bones and shrill screams, rang out almost simultaneously. The menacing, burly men were all on the ground, clutching their arms or legs, wailing in agony. The whole process took no more than 3 seconds. In the entire area, only Black Wolf was left standing. The arrogance and cruelty on his face had been completely replaced by terror and disbelief. He didn't even see how I had moved. You, who on earth are you? Black Wolf's voice was trembling. This skill, this speed, it's not something a human could possess. I walked towards him step by step, each step feeling like it was stomping on his heart. Who I am isn't important. I walked up to him and looked down at him. What's important is that you've messed with the wrong person. I lifted my foot and stomped hard on his knee. Crack! A sickening crunch of bone echoed. Black Wolf let out an inhuman scream, clutching his leg, which was bent at an unnatural angle, and writhed on the ground. Su Qingyan stood behind me, covering her mouth, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. She had thought Xinyu might be a good fighter, but she had never imagined he would be inhumanly skilled. This was beyond her understanding of the human species. Is he really human? After I dealt with these scumbags, I turned to look at Su Qingyan and found her looking at me as if I were a monster. My heart skipped a beat. Crap, I overdid it with the showing off this time. She's not going to think I'm some kind of demon and hire a Taoist priest to exorcise me, is she? No, I need to come up with a reasonable explanation quickly. I cleared my throat and said with a serious expression, I used to spend a few years in the military, learned some fighting techniques. The military? Su Qingyan was skeptical. Yes, special forces. I started spouting nonsense with a straight face. It's a classified unit, so you can't find it in the archives. This is also why I know a little about finance and Go. I learned it all in the army. This excuse is flawless. Perfect. I gave myself a thumbs up for my quick wit. Su Qingyan looked at me without speaking. Of course, she didn't believe it. What kind of special forces could produce such a monster? But she didn't press further. She knew that the secrets this man held were far more numerous than she had imagined. All she needed to know was that this powerful, enigmatic man was her husband. That was enough. Let's go home. She stepped forward and took my arm, this time holding it even tighter. In his villa, Li Wanshan waited anxiously for news. When he received the call and learned that Black Wolf and all his men had been taken down, his mind went blank. What did you say? Black Wolf and his dozen men were all disabled by that good-for-nothing, all by himself? In 3 seconds, Li Wanshan felt like he was listening to a fairy tale. Boss, that kid isn't human. He's a monster. You need to run. He's definitely coming for you. On the other end of the line came Black Wolf's weak and terrified voice. Li Wanshan hung up the phone, feeling a chill run down his spine. He finally realized what kind of existence he had provoked. Fear washed over him like a tidal wave. Run. I have to run now. He began to frantically pack his things, preparing to flee Yunqing overnight. But just as he pulled open the villa's main door, he saw a figure standing quietly in the shadows by the entrance. Under the moonlight, the figure's face bore the faintest hint of a smile. It was Chunyu. Chairman Li, where are you off to so late at night? Li Wanshan was scared out of his wits, collapsing onto the ground and pointing at me, babbling incoherently. You stay away. What? Are you a man or a ghost? I'm the one here to settle the score with you. I walked into the villa step by step, closing the main door behind me. I just wanted to live a quiet life, but it was you who provoked me, time and time again. First, it was your good-for-nothing son, and now it's you, his father who doesn't know when to quit. Now it's time for the game to end. I looked at him as if he were already a dead man. Li Wanshan felt the undisguised, killing intent emanating from me. Scared senseless, he knelt on the ground and began to kowtow frantically. Mr. Chun, Master Chun, I was wrong. I was blind not to recognize your greatness. Please, I beg you, spare my life. I'll give you money. I'll give you the entire Li group. Money. I laughed. Do you think I care about your petty cash? Li Wanshan despairat. He knew there was no escaping his fate today. Just as I was about to make my move and permanently solve this problem, my phone rang. It was Su Qingyan. Where are you? Her voice carried a hint of worry. Outside, dealing with some personal matters. Is Li Wanshan with you? I fell silent. A sigh came from the other end of the line. Qingyu, come back. Some things don't need to be solved that way. Let the law handle him, okay? Her voice was pleading. I looked down at Li Wanshan, who had nearly fainted from fear at my feet, and remained silent for a few seconds. Forget it. For this girl's sake, I'll let this old dog live. Besides, I've already prepared the evidence of his embezzlement and illegal fundraising. Letting him rot in prison will be more painful for him than killing him directly. I hung up and dialed another number. Hello, police. I want to report that Li Wanshan, the chairman of the Li Group, is suspected of multiple financial crimes. The next day, another major earthquake shook the Yunqing business world. Li Wanshan, chairman of the Li Group, was taken away by the police for investigation into several suspected financial crimes. The Li Group's stock price plummeted, and overnight, it was on the verge of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, the Su Group acquired all of the Li Group's premium assets at an unbelievably low price. After this battle, the Su Group firmly established its unshakable dominance in Yunqing. And Su Qingyan, the young female CEO, became shrouded in a mythical aura. Everyone said she was a business genius, a chosen one. Only Su Qingyan herself knew what kind of man stood behind her. The storm surrounding the Li family had completely subsided. Within the Su family, Su Jianjun was also kicked out of the board of directors and completely marginalized by Su Qingyan's swift and decisive actions. Everything was settled. My salted fish life finally seemed to be getting on track. That night, Su Qingyan came to my small side room again. In her hand, she held a document. I took one look and my eyelids twitched. Divorce agreement. Are you kidding me? Is this woman kicking me to the curb now that she's gotten what she wanted? Now that the crisis is over, she's just going to kick me out? Fine. I wanted a divorce anyway. Can I get a bit more compensation this time? 500 million doesn't seem to be enough anymore. While my mind was racing with these calculations, I put on a hurt expression. Su Qingyan looked at me, listening to my inner thoughts, and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She placed the agreement in front of me. Sign it. I picked up the pen and sighed inwardly. So be it. It was all just a dream in the end. My island, my bikinis. With a flourish, I signed my name. Then I saw Su Qingyan also pick up a pen and sign her name on another document. She pushed that document in front of me. I saw the title clearly. Equity Gratis Transfer Agreement. She had transferred 30% of the Su Group's shares to me. Based on the Su Group's current market value, this 30% stake was worth at least 100 billion. I was completely stunned. What are you doing? 100 billion? Has she lost her mind? Why would she give me so much money? Could it be she's really fallen in love with me? Is she trying to bury me in money so I'll never be able to leave her? That logic actually makes a lot of sense. Seeing my dumbfounded expression, the corners of Su Qingyan's mouth curved into a beautiful arc. She picked up the divorce agreement I had just signed and in front of me slowly tore it into pieces. The scraps of paper fluttered down like snowflakes. Qingyu, the old one is void. From today on, we're starting over. She stood up, walked over to me, stood on her tiptoes, and once again kissed my lips. This time it wasn't a light peck. It was a deep, passionate kiss that allowed no refusal. After a long while, Our lips parted. She leaned against my chest, her voice soft, yet filled with an unshakable resolve. Don't even think about leaving me for the rest of your life. Your island. I'll buy it for you. You want to see bikinis? I'll wear them for you. Boom. My mind went completely blank. She. How did she know I wanted to buy an island? How did she know I wanted to see bikinis? An absurd, yet singular possibility emerged in my mind. I looked into her beautiful, smiling eyes and tentatively thought to myself, wifey. The next second, I saw her gorgeous face instantly turn as red as a ripe apple. She shyly buried her head in my chest and let out an MMPH as quiet as a mosquito's buzz. Me? It's over. It's all over. My salted fish life has completely gone down the drain. After the truth came out, my worldview took a hit. It turned out that for the past 3 years, I hadn't been performing a one-man show, but a two-person act. All my inner complaints, all my salted fish fantasies, had been heard loud and clear by this woman. No wonder she could always perfectly hit every one of my sweet spots and sore spots. So, you knew all along that I would help you? I pinched Su Qingyin's cheek and asked in annoyance. Su Qingyin snuggled into my arms like a contented cat and mumbled, yeah. I knew from a moment you said Li Hao was an idiot. Me? I felt like a gambler whose hand had been completely exposed. No, it was worse than that. I was just a clown who had been running around naked in front of her for 3 years. Then why did you still bring up divorce? I was even more angry, because I wanted to hear if you had any feelings for me in your heart. Su Qingyin looked up, her beautiful eyes sparkling at me, but it turned out your mind was full of bikinis. My face flushed red, and I guiltily averted my gaze. Well, you still shouldn't have kissed me. Why not? Su Qingyin said righteously. You're my husband. What's wrong with me kissing you? She paused, then added, besides, I found that every time I kissed you, although you were cursing me in your heart, your body was very honest. Your heart was beating especially fast. Me? I was utterly speechless. In front of this woman, I had no secrets. This feeling was very strange. Without pretense, without schemes, everything became simple and pure. It seems not so bad. Shouldn't you? Su Qingyin suddenly looked at me seriously. What? Were you really Wall Street's Pluto before? She finally asked the question. I fell silent. Rebirth was such an unbelievable thing. If I admit it, will she think I'm a monster? Su Qingyin seemed to see through my worries. She held my hand and said seriously, no matter who you were before, no matter what you've been through, right now, you are just Chunyu, my husband. That's enough. Her gaze was sincere and firm. I looked at her, and the softest part of my heart was touched. I smiled and pulled her tightly into my arms. Yes, I am your husband. That was enough. The next day, I moved from the side room into the 2-meter-wide bed in the master bedroom. Su Qingyin was true to her word, really having someone buy a private island in the South Pacific. She said it was our new home. As for the bikini, that night, when I saw Su Qingyin standing shyly before me in a black lace bikini, her cheeks so red they looked like they could bleed, my last shred of a slacker's conviction completely shattered. To hell with lying flat. My wife is so much better. 1 year later, South Pacific, a private island. Sunshine, beach, waves, cacti, and an old sea captain. Ahem, no old sea captain. I was in beach shorts and sunglasses, lying comfortably on a beach chair, sipping iced coconut juice. Su Qingyin, in a fiery red bikini, was like a flame playing in the shallow water not far away. The sunlight sprinkled on her, beautiful as a painting. Honey, come on. The water feels so good. She waved at me, her smile like a blooming flower. The once icy female CO had now been completely melted by me into a pool of spring water. I smiled, put down my coconut juice, and walked toward her. The Su Group had now become a true corporate juggernaut, thriving under Su Qingyin's leadership. Of course, behind this, my off-the-cuff guidance as the mastermind behind the scenes was indispensable. Hey, that European deal, tell Qingyin not to sign it. The other company has financial problems. They're about to go bankrupt. That new AI project is good. We can invest. The future belongs to artificial intelligence. Second uncle's good-for-nothing son lost $5 million in Macau again. Let him fend for himself. the Su family doesn't support idlers. Whenever I complained in my mind, Su Qingyin could always make the most correct decision at the first opportunity. Over time, I got used to this kind of telepathic married life. What are you thinking about? Su Qingyin swam to my side and wrapped her arms around my neck. I was thinking my slacker life doesn't seem too bad. I tweaked her nose. Although I haven't completely given up to lie flat, having a beautiful woman by my side, steering the course of the world, seems much more interesting than drinking alone on an island. Hearing this, Su Qingyin smiled, her eyes curving into crescents. She suddenly leaned into my ear and whispered, "Honey, I think I might have telepathy too." I froze. What? I can hear the baby's thoughts. She placed my hand on her flat abdomen. I felt as if I'd been struck by lightning. Tentatively, I carefully formed a thought in my mind. A baby? Is it a boy or a girl? Then, a milky, childlike voice, yet tinged with a trace of disgust, echoed in both my and Su Qingyin's minds at the same time. Some old geezer is touching me. Mei Suingyan. I looked at Su Qingyin's face, red from holding back laughter, then at my own rejected hand. I suddenly felt that my status in this family was about to drop again. Under the sun, the sea breeze blew gently. A new life, a new story had just begun. This time, I was no longer alone. Hey dears, can you rate this story in the comment section? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm begging you. If you like this kind of story, please follow.